What's good? What's good? I'm tired. It's Monday. Let's get going. Urgh. Anyways, uh, the mornings are when I'm usually the grumpiest as a person. And so I should avoid social media in the mornings, but I don't. And I had a snarky, quippy little exchange with someone on a YouTube post. And I'll clip the original post in here so my horrible paraphrasing doesn't get lost. The message doesn't get lost in it. But anyways, this dude uh, retired young and was complaining about the fact that his wife called him a loser because all he does is eat edibles and play video games now. And I commented on the post and I had said, I side with the wife on this one. If that's what you do with most of your time, that is pathetic. I love marijuana. I totally support marijuana. And I don't hate video games, but it's very much an Aristotelian mean thing. It's like a middle balance thing. Occasional video games is totally fine, because pleasure and joy, it's totally fine in the right balance. But if it's like what you do for most of the time, yeah, you should reflect. And there's a lot of projection here, and I acknowledge that. So let me address the title of this video. What do you owe your community? And I like phrasing the question that way because really your community is where you should center your attention and your efforts. You should have national and global awareness, but you should have local efforts and energy expenditures, in my opinion. I am nobody, but whatever. So anyways, there's this really cool Zen koan, 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 which is like an expression, a question, a statement designed to make you reflect on a deeper level, and often it is paradoxical. So the one I like and I'm going to introduce is the fact that your life belongs to you, and it doesn't. So just think on that for a little bit. I think on that a lot, and I love that. That's why I love Zen, Eastern philosophy. I love all philosophy, but anyways, okay. And so when I reflect on that, I totally see a world where, yes, an individual should allot time in their life for personal pleasure and joy and gratification. Totally. Yeah, no, I'm not going to argue that. But a person should also allot a portion of their time and energy and resources to investing in their community, because you would likely not have achieved the success you have achieved in life without others around you. You need customers, don't you? And, big global corporations, don't think about them. Think about your local plumber who's worked really hard to save up a little money and to look into retiring, right? The people, his customers, that's his community, right? And it's a reciprocal relationship, and it should go beyond business. Community is more than just business. Community is collaboration. And this is where each individual has to assess where they are at in life, what they have to offer, how the community has benefited them in the past, and how they want to contribute to the community in the future. And so this dude has millions of dollars that he could be using to elevate his community, to help his community. He could go out and start investing in small businesses. And this is the projection part I had addressed earlier. I think I mentioned that it could be projection, because that is me just being bitter about the fact that I've worked a lot longer than 15 years already, and I am nowhere I'm going to retire, but it's not going to be like, yeah, I'm not going to have, see, I don't want to say these things because I don't want to manifest them, but at the current trajectory I'm on, my retirement is not looking good. But I need to have hope and I need to have faith, because if the universe does decide, when the universe does decide to bless me with abundance, that is what I am going to do. I am going to constantly be going out into my community looking for ways that I can contribute and help. And I think a lot of the reason I've experienced such tremendous adversity is because it has molded me into this person. So the person in that original post, they probably have not had a lot of true adversity in life. They have had struggles, no doubt. Everyone has struggles. But if you think working hard for 15 years is a big deal, because I'm pretty sure that was an element in the post. Like he said, I worked hard for 15 years. If you think that's a big deal, man, your life has probably been pretty smooth sailing. And I think people who have relatively easy lives like that, they really sort of lack the social lens or the social awareness to understand just how rough things really are for most Americans. Most Americans are struggling. The middle class has just evaporated. It's gone. I mean, it's not entirely gone, but it would be more accurate to say that the lower class, the amount of people who are existing in substandard, sub-ideal, or not great standard of livings, that number has risen dramatically. And there is a relativity component to it. People love to say, well, you got, plumbing and toilets and whatnot. And it's like, yeah, okay, cool. We have plumbing and toilets, but relative to the abundance available to humanity versus what is accessible to the lower class, there is such a ginormous disparity that it is immoral, in my opinion. And I know I'm sounding like a fucking communist right now. Please don't think that I am a communist, because I am not a communist. I absolutely believe people should work and people should contribute and people should have property rights. But I also believe, and it's not paradoxical to believe, that we can be doing better for our communities. That our communities have been destroyed by bureaucrats and by the managerial class, the elitists, the managerial elitists who have just been extracting wealth from the middle class for decades, centuries. I mean, this whole game has been going on for millennia. It really has. Like the power control, the centralized power control at the top, with it filtering down. That's one of humanity's biggest obstacles we need to learn to overcome, is this desire to centralize power, control, and resources, and to give sociopathic people access to such powerful positions. We need to grow past that. We need to step into our own personal sovereignty and learn to coexist in our communities. I'm not a communist. I don't like communism. But you don't have to be a communist to see how things are effed up in our world today. And things could be a lot better if men who had resources cared more about their communities. And I haven't talked on this for a while because I'm still just trying to really get past it. But I think back to the time that I was working in a fish warehouse making $20 an hour. It was a smallish local company, multi-million-dollar enterprise, but local, right? And they tried to promote me from being a warehouse worker, a driver of trucks, to a procurement agent, essentially, a supply chain coordinator. So a buyer and seller. So coordinating with the Chinese buyers and the American divers who went and picked the product, right? That's a big role. It's a big responsibility, something I have experience in. But going from $20 an hour to $46K a year is not a promotion, is not a bump. And that company absolutely could have paid more. I think about that man and just like how he could be doing so much more for the community. And everybody who worked for him always complained about like, oh, I wish I made more money. And it's like, that's one of the big reasons I didn't take the job. 46K is nothing. But then also, like, I didn't want to be in that environment. And I didn't want that mentality to just soak into me and to just make it a joke, but to keep going to work. It's toxic. You know, when all of your employees are constantly joking about how they don't make enough money, that's toxic. I didn't want to be a part of that. And there are a lot of entrepreneurs that could be doing better for their people, but it is what it is. Your life belongs to you, and it doesn't. Please check the description for links to get your own No Division shirt. Comment, share, subscribe, help me out, because when the universe blesses me, I'm going to bless those around me. Much love, y'all.